come down from heaven?
Well, John explained that.
No, who saw him coming from heaven? So similarly, Elijah must have also come from heaven.
Does it say someone had to see him?
The thing is,
The
no
difference
man.
between Christ and John is pre-existence. Between Christ and Elijah is pre-existence. John tells us that Christ existed before his physical birth.
Now,
He
this
existed
pre-existence.
with God, he existed as God.
Right. Now, if he pre-existed, did he pre-exist as a 33-year-old man who departed from us? Or as a little infant? How did he exist with God?
He existed as God. He was
No,
God.
in what form? He must have had a form.
The Bible teaches us that God is a spirit.
So he existed as spirit.
He existed
Right.
as spirit.
So if he existed as spirit, everybody existed with God in spirit. No, it is not in the head. The fact of the matter is that the Bible tells us that by faith we know that the heavens and the earth were created by the word of God. And that the things visible came from the force invisible. What is this invisible force? Spirit. That this spirit. See, everything in the knowledge of God existed. Jesus existed. You and I existed. This meeting existed. In other words, didn't you know? Is he an omniscient being?
Is he an omniscient being?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Omniscient, all-knowing.
Yes.
Now, if he's all-knowing, does he know up to eternity? Up to the very end, from the very beginning?
Were we omniscient beings?
We are not. We are limited beings. But now, God Almighty is omniscient. You
Yeah,
understand?
that's what he's talking about here, John, the fact of descending and ascending.
Yes. So, if you are thinking in terms of descending from heaven, Jesus came out of his mother's womb, like Elijah, like everybody else. So he didn't. That's another lie. It's another contradiction.
What's the contradiction?
That he came from heaven. He didn't come from heaven. He came from his mother's womb.
Well, you are at variance here with the Apostle John, because he says that in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You notice, in the beginning he was God.
Yes.
Now, as you come down to verse 40, he says the Word became flesh. Here's the idea of God becoming flesh.
Now the word becoming flesh. Word is the idea.
But the Word was God.
And wait. Now, you said you don't accept that verse.
What verse?
John 1:1.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said Mark.
John 1:1?
I said Mark.
What do you say about John 1:1?
No, First John.
No, John 1:1.
No, you said that.
Right. Now, John 1:1, you know Greek?
Yes.
You know Greek? Right. That's very good. Because I met a Jehovah's Witness this morning. He said he knew Greek. And I put him to the test. The guy was found to be a liar. Now, you know Greek. Now, I would like you to help me. Help these people. The words are John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. I want to know what is the Greek word there for God?
Theos.
Hotheos.
It's Theos.
It's Hotheos.
Well, the whole is the article. It doesn't matter. The good name of God is
Right,
Theos.
right. Right. Hotheos. It is there, Hotheos, and the God. Now, according to the Western system of translation, wherever there is a proper noun, you put a capital letter. When it is a common noun, you put a small letter. That is your system of transcribing. Am I correct? So, as such now, in your Bible there, that word God is spelled with a capital G, which is befitting Hotheos. And it continues, and the word was God. What is the Greek word there for God?
I don't remember. I don't have my Greek New Testament.
Shall I tell you?
Have you got a Greek New Testament?
I can tell you offhand. The word there is tontheos. The first one is Hotheos, which means the God. And the second one is tontheos. Tontheos means a God.
No. But that is your translation.
Give me your...
You're as bad as Jehovah's Witness.
Give me your...
How do you use Jehovah's Witness argue these?
Give me yours. You give me yours.
Answer my question. How do you, the Jehovah's Witness, argue against each
The
other?
fact is,
Y'all agree.
you see,
You say they say a God, you say a God.
I'm not saying now, your Greek, if you know your Greek, if it is Hotheos, is the God. If it is tontheos, it's a God.
No, wait. You're saying Greek, and then you're making translation.
it?
No, you said that in our Western translation.
Yes.
All right,
No,
we
system,
do this.
Western system.
Well,
Your
our
system of translation. Yeah.
We do this. Well, we're interested in what the Greeks say. The Greeks in our. All right, well, what did they mean? Not concerned with what our Western way of translating their writing, but what did they mean? When they said
They meant what they wrote.
now
in
every translation of that verse, and you can check it, it says God.
With a capital G.
Yes. Except for one or two obscure translations. And those are the very ones that the Jehovah's Witnesses grab onto in order to prove their point that Jesus was a God, which is what you're saying.
No.
You see, so when we talk,
I'm not accepting that.
when we're taking scholars, as you were quoting a while ago from the RSV,
yes,
and we can line up scholars of people who have translated Bibles, all right, translated that verse, and then we line up on this side scholars who have said a God, and the list over here is astronomical, and the list over here is so small. All right. Now, if I were going to look at evidence, and I'm not a linguist. I've had several years of Greek, but I'm not a linguist. I would want to see where is the evidence of such. And the evidence of such lies on the idea of God, capital.
Now, this is, you're talking about that stack of scholars who are on one side, and
I'm talking
linguists or copyists, whatever they are, or religious denominations. Same as the capital letter you use in John 1:1 for God. That same whole theos is used here. Now, why do you change that to a small letter G? When I say you, I mean your scholars of Christendom. Why do you do that? Unless they are out to deceive the people. Because now, if it is Hotheos, you must be consistent in your translation. If it is Hotheos meaning God, you give a capital G. Then the same Hotheos for the devil, he must also have a capital G. Why should you give him a small g now? According to the system of the Western, your system is proper noun, capital letter. Common noun, small letter. Why aren't you consistent in your translation? Unless you're trying out to deceive people. Then at the back of your mind, you have certain ideas which you are trying to propound in your translation. And this is exactly what Mrs. Ellen G. White says. In her Bible commentary, she is not a Muslim, she is not a
I don't think so.
Jewish. No, but now, what motive has she got? She's telling that the people, according to the prescribed church views, they have been interfering with the Bible.
All right, but what she says is exactly what Muhammad said. I have a new revelation.
Yes, yes.
So I will prove that their revelation was true.
Right, now, let's
And I don't accept
we will leave all these other side issues.
See,
and let's now, if you want to leave with the Quran, I'm prepared to leave with the Quran.
Well, we won't.
We'll leave this. We have discussed that in submission.
He said there's no contradiction to the Quran.
There are no contradictions in the Quran.
I'm not an authority on the Quran. I've been reading some and trying to find out some things. In what is classified as 262, is it in there?
Chapter 2, verse 262.
Yes.
Or just chapter 262.
Yes.
I got it.
Can you read?
Those who believe in the Quran and those who follow the Jewish scriptures and the Christians and the Sabians and any who believe in God and the last day and work righteousness shall have the reward with their Lord. On them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve.
All right, so now would you read 385?
385.
Yes.
If anyone desires a religion other than Islam, submission to God, never will it be accepted of him. And in the hereafter, you will be in the ranks of those who have lost all spiritual good.
Now in 262 it says anyone who accepts Judaism, Christianity, or the Sabians, they will have their reward with God, and they will be acceptable with Him. In 385 it says that those who accept other religions besides Islam shall be destroyed.
Right.
Now, is that a contradiction?
No, there's
It's
no
not.
contradiction. There's not.
In one place to say that I can be a Jew and I'll be saved, and another place say that I can only accept the Torah. That's not a contradiction.
No. You see here it tells you, you see, you don't say the qualifications. It says here, and who believe in God and the last day. Now you say you believe in God. Then what is your concept of God? You said that Jesus is God just now. You said Jesus is God. So the book tells you, it says the one who says, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَالْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ. Those whosoever says that Jesus Christ, the Son of Mary, is God, he's blaspheming. وَقَالَ الْمَسِيحُ, but Christ said, يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل, O children of Israel, لَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ, Allah, worship God, رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ, who is my Lord and your Lord. إِنَّهُ مَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, whoever will associate anyone with Allah, فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ الْجَنَّةِ, God will forbid him paradise. وَمَأْوَاهُ النَّارِ, and the fire of hell will be his dwelling place. وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ, and for the wrongdoers there will be no one to help. So that explains that if you believe in God, you have to believe in God as the scripture tells you.
But you have a contradiction flat out.
You said just now, Christians, you said you are not a Roman Catholic. I asked Bazil, I said, would you go to a Roman Catholic church? He said, no. I said, will you go to a Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall? He said, no. Will you go to a Seventh-day Adventist church? He says, no. In other words, now, in your heart and mind, those people are not Christians. They are not you. So, this book also tells us that the person who says who believes in God, but he is worshipping human being as a God, he is worshipping...
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
That's
Now,
fair.
where have I ever said, or where has the Bible ever said, that a person who accepts Hinduism, a person who has ever accepted the Dagon gods of the Moabites, or accepted the other religions, will be saved? And then in another passage say that that only Christians can be saved. Now that's what you have got there. In the second chapter it said, quite plainly, anyone who believes in God, whether Jews, now Jews do not worship like the Muslims, do they? Do they believe in the same God?
They believe in the same God.
No, they don't believe in the same concept of God.
Maybe not as perfect a concept, but
Do the Christians believe in the same God,
Not
same
a-
concept?
What I would say now, you see, I was calling it Trinitarians.
No, I'm not.
Now you have used a different label for yourself, but you are a Trinitarian as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not.
Because if that's when I asked him, he said Jesus is God. He said yes. When I asked you whether Jesus is God, you said yes.
Yeah.
Right. Is the Holy Ghost God?
Yeah.
Right. And God is God, the Father.
Father.
So you are believing in a triune God.
Your concept of it is a branch of, in the sense of deities, as the Hinduism, and that's not my concept.
What
We can talk about that
when you
another
say
time.
the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Ghost is God, that little child will tell you that you're talking about three gods.
Three personalities.
When the Father is God, I am asking the little child, if I said the Father is God, I believe in the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Ghost is God. I'm asking the little child, how many gods am I talking about? That little child will tell you three.
You know, well, in our concept of gods,
So in other words, now you are uttering the statement of a triune God, but you don't like to utter the word Trinity. Because if Jesus is God, according to this book you are blaspheming, you're not the follower of Christ. As far as we are concerned.
all right. Now, answer
So
my question earlier. We're dealing with this contradiction.
Yes, this is not a contradiction. You see, it's telling you,
Now-
when you use one second, you said Judaism.
Right.
This book doesn't talk about Judaism. You see, there is no such
I hear that.
There's no Judaism, where is it?
262. What
Yeah,
does it say?
it doesn't say Judaism.
What does it say?
The Jew.
Oh, well, that's same thing.
No, wait. You see, when you talk about Christianity,
All right, now what is
when
Christianity?
I said Christianity, Judaism, now we believe that there is no such thing as Judaism and there is no such thing as Christianity. There is only one religion with God, and the name of that religion is Islam. What it means is not that Moses was following Muhammad, then Jesus was following Muhammad. No. Islam means a religion of total submission to the will of God. That's what the meaning of the word. A religion of total submission. In its literal sense means peace, salam, peace. But when we say Islam, it means a system in which mankind submits totally to God. Whatever he says, I say I'm prepared to do, whether I like it or not. I'm a Muslim, means I have submitted. As such, we say that the religion of Moses was Islam and the religion of Jesus was Islam. Because I have been asking Jews about Judaism, learned Jews. I said, now this word Judaism, I'm asking the Jew, learned man. I said, where did you get it? Is it in your Quran? He says, no. I said, is this in your Talmud? He says, no. I said, is this in your Mishnah? Your commentaries? He says, no. I said, where did you get it? He doesn't know. So I said, look, I tell you, where you got the word Judaism from. It's a word which Moses didn't hear. In his lifetime, Moses never heard the word Judaism. When he was preaching his faith, he never told anybody that this religion of mine is Judaism. Where does the word come from? It comes from the word Judah. You see, Jacob had 12 sons, and those 12 sons, in time, they became the 12 tribes, the children of Israel. Among these 12 tribes, when they conquered Palestine under Joshua, Palestine was divided among the tribes. And that portion of land occupied by the children of Judah in Palestine was called Judea. Among the tribes, portioned out. Different families looking after different portions of the land. And the people from the outside, they disparagingly pointed to these people. They said, these are in Judea, the people in Judea are following the religion of Judaism. This is a word that is concocted by people from the outside, labeling the Jews and their religion as Judaism. Moses never heard the word Judaism in his lifetime. Christianity also is a word non-existent in the language of Jesus or his disciples. They never heard the term Christianity. You see, the first time that this word Christian was ever used is, as you know, was at Antioch. That the enemies of the followers of Jesus, they disparagingly pointed to the early followers of Jesus and said, these are Christians, the worshippers of Christ.
Where does it say?
In Antioch.
Where does it say the enemy said that?
Who said that? Who used the word? You read it, you check it out.
Where does it say?
You find the word Christian, and you'll find it. How did the word Christian come about? Who said it? Whether Jesus Christ said it or the Holy Spirit? Who said it?
In Acts 11 and 26, it says, and when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. It came to pass that even for a whole year, they were gathered together in the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians. First,
We were called Christians by who? At Antioch. Who called them disciples? Yeah, the disciples were called Christians. Were first called Christians at Antioch.
Now who called them?
Now who called them Christians?
I'm asking you.
No, you read your commentaries. Bible commentaries.
I'm not interested in commentary.
Then, all right, you tell me then. Who called them? Did God call them Christians?
That's not my problem.
No, it's your problem. Because now I'm telling
Because you are telling me something, and you're saying commentaries.
Your commentator.
No,
So you say, I don't accept any Bible commentator. So you are your own commentator. So I said, you.
I am dealing with what is here.
Right. So,
Now, what do I have to deal with? Now, you made a statement, and you said it said.
Right.
It doesn't say.
I said at Antioch, the first time the word that was used, the word Christian was at Antioch.
Yeah?
Right. And these are the enemies who use that
It
word.
will say that.
All right. So now, you have to now tell me that this was revealed, which you can't. You can't prove to me that this was a new revelation coming down from heaven, that from now on you are Christians.
Look at this statement.
Yeah, what does it say?
If anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not feel ashamed, but in that name let him glorify God.
Where are you quoting from now?
I'm quoting from 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16.
Yes.
Now, you see, you're saying that it was called by
First at Antioch. However, now let's go back to the more fundamentals. Jesus Christ. In his lifetime, he was not known as Christ. Nobody ever called him Christ in his life. Because this word Christ is derived from a Greek word, Christos, which means anointed. The word that he used for himself was Messiah. He said, I am the Messiah, which means the anointed one. The Greek word for anointed is word Christos. Christos means anointed. And the European Christian took out the word os and they made him into Christ. And from the word Christ, they have this idea of Christianity, a religion of Jesus Christ. But Jesus Christ in his lifetime, he never used the word Christ, nor did he use the word Christianity. In his lifetime, it was never used. Now, if Jesus was here today, and if we asked him a question, "Oh Jesus, what is your religion?" I expect him to say that my religion is a religion of total submission to the will of God. My religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. Because if he said Christianity, I'll ask him what church you belong to. Are you a Roman Catholic or a DRC? Or are you a Jehovah's Witness?
Now, you would ask him that based upon what has happened in what we call, quote, church history.
In
What we would call church history. But if you were viewing the Bible as the revelation of God and the fact of the concept of the church as there being one, Christ wouldn't answer it that way.
how would he answer?
And you wouldn't answer it at all in the way you would answer it.
How would he?
Because
how would he
Jesus said
accept
there was going to be his church.
Yeah.
In Matthew chapter
No,
6.
how would you name his church? I said, look, this mosque, this is my mosque.
Now,
No.
you say,
But
what does the
if
word
there was
church
a mosque
mean?
here, if there was a mosque here, I said, well, where are you going to go? I said, I'm going to my mosque. Now, my mosque doesn't mean my name is Deedat. That the name of the mosque is not Deedat.
Yes, because you're dealing with what?
With what?
A mosque is what?
Mosque is a place of prayer.
That's right.
A church. What you said, a church is a place of prayer.
No, it's not. You see, this is your problem. You're dealing with what has been quoted Christianity, what has been, quote, church history. The word church in the New Testament, in the Greek, simply means the called out. Ecclesia simply meant the called out. When Jesus said, I'm going to build my church, he meant I'm going to have my called out.
Right.
Finished.
Right.
Now, when Christ is coming, or if he were here, he would not be looking for a building in the first place. And so your concept of Christ going to look for a building is one that you associate with Islam. Christ would not be looking for a building. He would simply be looking for people that are in total submission to himself and to worship God.
To himself.
That's right.
Not to God.
He is God.
Did he say that anywhere? In the whole of the scripture, the whole Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, is there a single place where he says, I'm God, where he says, worship me?
We find where
If you can show me something, and I want to make things very easy for you. If you can show me just one place in the whole Bible, any version now, when Jesus says, I'm God, I'm prepared to accept it. Anywhere where he says, worship me, I'm prepared to worship him. Okay? Fair? You got to show me in your book. And when I say your book, I say any Bible now, any version. You just show me in your book, Jesus saying, I'm God. I say, I accept, I accept it. You say, worship me, I'm prepared to worship him. If you can show me anywhere in your Bible.
All right, in John chapter 20.
Are you answering my request? Or is it, he said that I am God of worship. Where does he say that?
Now I'm quoting from John, and I'm reading from John chapter 20 and verse 26, and this has to do with Thomas. And Thomas, after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas was with them. Jesus cometh, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Peace be unto you. Then said he to Thomas, Reach hither thy finger, and see my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and put it inside my side, and be not faithless, but believing. Thomas answered and said unto him, My Lord and my God. Jesus said unto him, Because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. Now, Thomas confessed one thing, my Lord and my God. And Jesus said, Blessed are you because you have believed, but blessed are those who have never seen, and yet believe. Believe what? That he is Lord and God, and that is proven from the resurrection. Now, I mentally...
Shall I deal with that? The verse that you have quoted.
Go ahead.
Yes. So you stop paging through that, I can deal with it.
All right, go ahead.
Because I was listening to you. I was direct attention. What my request, simple English. I was making my request in very simple English. I said, please show me one place in the Bible where Jesus says, I am God, or where he says, worship me. Now you haven't given me that. What you are giving me is a statement made by somebody else, Thomas. Statement made by him, to Jesus. But statement made by somebody else, and your interpretation. See, you are giving me your interpretation. Now if you look at the background of the whole scene, you will find that it is not as you are thinking. It's not as you are thinking. The background. You see the context in which the whole thing is occurring. You know the context. The context is that this man, Thomas, when he was told by 10 of the other disciples that they had seen the Master, they had seen Jesus in the flesh, and the man had eaten food with them. Thomas answered at that time, that first time when he met these 10 disciples in that upper room, Thomas said, except I put my finger into the print of the nail and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. Am I right? So that kind of unbelief, hard-heartedness, that all the 10 disciples are testifying. What reason that they had to lie to Thomas? No reason. They're telling us, look, the man came there. Man, I says, we felt him. We felt him all over. He's the same Jesus, our Master, not a spook. We didn't see any spook. He was the same Jesus. And when we gave him broiled fish and honeycomb, and he took it and he ate in our very sight. To prove that he's the same man. He's not a spirit, he's not a ghost, he's not a spook. The man says, I can't believe it. I must do this, I must put my finger in, and I must put my hand into his side, only then I will believe. That unreasonableness on his part, that stubbornness on his part. Now this news goes to Jesus, and when he returns after 8 days later, he walks in and Thomas happens to be there. He says, Thomas, reach hither thy finger and behold my hand, and put your hand into my side, and don't be faithless. Don't be faithless. The man realized what a fool he has been. That the 10 disciples were testifying. Now Jesus is saying, come on, what you wanted now do and see. So he says, my God, my Lord, my God. Does it mean that Jesus is his God? Jesus is his Lord? If he was, then he would have made a prostration. This is what the Jews do. When they see their Lord and their God, they make prostration. And all the others would have followed suit. Prostrated to Jesus because they recognize their God. Nothing of the kind. What this is an explanation which we do again and again. I have come here to meet you, brother, and to have a dialogue with you. Our brother here, Mr. Naidu, our host, he goes and reports to the special branch. He says, you know, there is a guy here very dangerous character in Durban. You know, he's got an office in Madras Arcade, and this fellow is running a communist cell. So they come to investigate. They come to investigate to find out whether there is such a thing. I said, look, what are you looking for here, man? What do you want? He said, no, it's one of your own men, man. He said something like this. It's one of your... So somehow they revealed to me that it was Mr. Naidu. He is the one, you know, who said that I'm running a communist cell. So when I meet him, I said, Mr. Naidu, my God. You, Naidu, my God. You going to do a thing like that? What harm did I do to you? You know, I came along, you welcomed me so nicely, a gentleman that you were. My God. You do a thing like that, Mr. Naidu? Would you do a thing like that? I said, my God. When I say my God, am I saying that you're my God? You know, I came along, you welcomed me so nicely, a gentleman that you were. My God. You do a thing like that, Mr. Naidu? Would you do a thing like that? I said, my God. When I say my God, am I saying that you're my God? Are you my God? When I say my God, what a thing to do. When we talk like that, my God, what a fool you are. You fool, you're my God.
The only problem was Thomas wasn't talking to John. John, he wasn't talking to anybody but Christ.
He was exclaiming.
All right.
It was an exclamation.
What was the purpose of
The
that?
bloody fool that I was. I said, my God, what if...
What convinced him of that?
Reach hither thy finger, and behold my hand, and put your hand into my side.
And
That
actually happened. What does that prove?
that I'm the same flesh and blood.
No.
Damn fool, what are you afraid of me for?
No.
Then what?
What did he put his hand in?
Where? He is telling you, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hand. That means feel it, see, and the same fellow.
And you say it proves that...
That he was same flesh and blood.
Why did he have to reach in his side?
Because he had been wounded on the side,
Oh.
which he had the news that the man was
When
wounded.
did that happen?
When he's supposed to have been on the cross.
Oh, but he wasn't on the cross.
Huh?
But he wasn't on the cross.
What? I don't
He was
understand.
not on the cross.
Then where was he?
Well, that's what you said.
I didn't say
You
that.
said he was supposed to be on the cross.
Right. I said he was supposed to be, because now this is your record and
Well, if supposed to is not, I don't know what it means.
it means what it says. The word suppose, well, you are an English speaking person, that's your mother tongue. You ought to know better than me. When I say supposed, it means supposed.
No, it means not.
What it means is your business. I say supposed, because now whatever happened there, you see, you were talking about resurrection.
Yes, well, you made an interpretation.
That resurrection didn't take place. In the first place, the man didn't die, and he was not crucified. Because crucified means to kill by hanging or impaling on the cross. And that thing didn't happen. And for that, I said, look, your book, your reading of it, it's you are giving interpretations.
Well, whatever he put his hand into, and whatever he put his hand in the side, it convinced him to change his mind.
Change his mind.
Now, what did he say?
Because he was thinking, these people were talking, 10 disciples, they told him that we saw the master.
Now, we come to
They
a point.
didn't say that we saw a ghost of the master.
No, they saw the flesh.
Right.
Real person.
So now this man, practical Jew,
Now, don't give interpretation.
Thomas, look, when you are talking about a ghost, he could have believed because they saw spirits going into pigs. In the Bible, you read 2,000 pigs. You remember they ran down the hill and they got drowned because spirits went into them.
Yeah.
You know, fig trees dying up from its very roots. They can believe in spirits going into trees. They can believe in spirits going into pigs. But a spirit eating flesh and blood, broiled fish and honeycomb, that they couldn't believe. He couldn't believe. So he said, look, to convince me, I must do that experiment myself. I must put my finger. And he's telling you very, very clear. He said, except I put my finger into the print of the nails and put my hand into his side to feel the wound. That's my words. He said, I will not believe. What? That the same Jesus had come and eaten with them. I can't believe. So, Jesus now is trying to tell him that he is exactly what the others had said him. Told him, this is the same flesh and blood, same man. He said, a spirit has no flesh and bones, as you see me have. A spirit has no flesh and bones. Jesus says. He says, behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. I am the same fellow man. What are you afraid of me for? Because they were affrighted, Luke tells us. They were affrighted because they thought he was a spirit. So Jesus says, behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. I am the same fellow man. Damn fools, what are you afraid of me for? Say, handle me and see. For a spirit has no flesh and bones, as you see me have. So, if I were flesh and bones, in that case, I'm not a spirit, I'm not a ghost, I'm not a spook. I'm asking, is that what it means in your language, sir? You Englishman.
That's not what Thomas said.
I'm talking about what Jesus said. Jesus said, a spirit has no flesh and bones.
Now, your question, though, has to do with what Thomas said.
Now, this is all leading from there. You see, this is the context in which I'm giving you these references. Jesus said, a spirit has no flesh and bones. Now, this is an axiomatic truth. The Hindus believe in it. The Christians, the Jews, the atheists, the agnostic, everyone believes that if a thing is a spirit, no flesh and bones. So why should he go out of his way to tell his disciples a spirit has no flesh and bones? Because the disciples were assuming, thinking that the man was a spirit. Why were they thinking he was a spirit? Because they had heard from hearsay that the master was hanged on the cross. They had heard from hearsay that he had given up the ghost, in other words, that he had died. They had heard from hearsay that now he's dead and buried for 3 days. A man with such a reputation, he must be stinking in his grave, because all the knowledge was from hearsay. Because Mark chapter 14 verse 50, he tells us that at the most critical juncture in the life of Jesus, all his disciples forsook him and fled. All. All. Unless this Mark is lying. He said all. You see, unless a guy is lying, even all means all in your language. I don't know it means except one. He said all his disciples. In Afrikaans say almal. To have almal from fatlaat and fatlaat. In Zulu it says Bamshia bonke. Babalega. Bonke. I am asking the Christian Zulu. Bonke means bonke in your language? You Englishmen all mean all in your language?
Right now, let's come back and deal with
So let me tell you. So because the knowledge is from here, they were not eyewitnesses or hear witnesses of the happening. They assumed that the man was dead and buried for 3 days. He must be stinking in his grave. Such a man, when you see, naturally you're terrified. So Jesus wants to assure them that he's not what they're thinking. They're thinking he's come back from the dead, resurrected. So he says, behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see. For a spirit, any spirit, has no flesh and bones, as you see me have. And they believed not for joy and wonder. They felt him. And wondered, what happened, man? I thought the man was dead and buried. So he said, have you here any meat? Something to eat? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and a honeycomb. And he took it and he ate in the very sight.
What is that?
To prove what? That I am the same fellow, not alive. I'm the same fellow man. Damn fools, what are you afraid of me for? Because they are afraid because they think he's a ghost.
No, let's come back and deal with the text. Now, we've gotten clear word, Jay, from the fact of proving either the Quran is the divine inspiration of God or the Bible. We're not even talking about that now. So we've gone clear away from that.
Right. So
Neither
come back.
proposition.
So if you want,
Neither proposition has been
so
proved.
you posed a problem for me.
Now.
No, you have posed a problem for me.
I'm coming back to
and
this.
when I was
And
answering,
I want to deal with this text.
You didn't give me a chance at all to hear that the Quran is the word of God. You haven't. You put me to the test, and I was answering that. And then from that we got drifted off onto this.
We were talking
But
about
now, if you want, I explain to you why that the Quran is the word of God.
I want to come back first and
No.
deal with this text.
Look, you had your chance to prove to us that the Bible is God's word, which you failed to do, which Bazil failed to do. Now, you have challenged
Can we
me.
deal with this
No,
text?
you have challenged me.
Can we deal with this text?
No, you have challenged.
I
No,
want to deal with this text because
wait.
you are putting in the minds of these people what the text doesn't say.
No, wait,
and I don't want
no.
to argue the text
But you see,
at all.
so now you're going to say, still at the end of it, you said, look, I didn't tell you anything about the Quran, which is a fact.
No,
you are
it's
doing
not
this.
fair for you to bring up a text and then leave it hanging.
No, you are doing this to me. You are doing this to me. See, I asked you, made a proposition to you.
All right, you
I said,
carry on and I'll talk.
I made a proposition, show me one place in your Bible where Jesus says, I'm God, or where he says, worship me. I said, I'm prepared to accept. Now, instead of giving me that, I'm sure you understood English well, you give me something what Thomas said. Suppose he said it. Still is not what I want. I asked you, show me one place where Jesus says, and in the whole Bible there isn't such a thing. Right. So in answer to all that, we drifted off from the subject. But let's get back to the point. The point is that you have had your say about the Bible, that the Bible, you tried to, that the Bible is God's word, and I tried to refute that. Now, it is your duty to listen to me about the Quran, and then you refute it. That's only fair. You want to hear about the Quran? Right. Now, number one, you see, this man Muhammad was absolutely unlearned. This is history. Friends and foe alike will tell you, Reverend Bosworth Smith, he tells you in his Mohammedanism, his book, he's illiterate himself. He starts with the word illiterate. So illiterate himself, scarcely able to read or write. He was yet the author of a book, which is a poem, a code of laws, a book of common prayers, and a Bible all in one. And is reverenced to this day by a sixth of the whole human race as a miracle of purity of style, of wisdom, and of truth. It is the one miracle claimed by Muhammad. His standing miracle, he called it, and a miracle indeed it is. This is Reverend Bosworth Smith, a Christian missionary. This is what he had to say. Now, the fact that he was illiterate, friends and foe alike, the book itself, the Quran says the man was illiterate. He didn't know how to read or write. Up to the age of 40, He didn't make any kind of claims whatsoever. He was not a hot gospeler. He was no Bible thumper. He didn't stand in the marketplaces trying to, attract attention. Nothing at all. He led a normal Arab life. As a child, he looked after his uncle Abu Talib's goats. At the age of 12, he went to Syria on a trade caravan with his uncle. Then at the age of 25, he goes for his a rich lady whom he subsequently married. But he never made any kind of pretensions to prophethood or any kind of position in the community. Man is respected, but had he died before the age of 40, we would have never heard about the man. At the age of 40, he happens to be in a cave, some 3 miles north of the city of Makkah. And the archangel Gabriel comes to him and addresses him in his mother tongue. Iqra. Iqra means to read. And Muhammad being unlearned, we read in the traditions that he says, Ma ana biqari. He said, I'm not learned. So the angel of God commands him a second time, Iqra, read. And again he pleads, Ma ana biqari. He said, I'm not learned. He's terrified. The third time the angel of God embraces him hard and commands him, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. So read in the name of thy Lord and Cherisher who created. So he repeats word for word what was being given to him, because this Arabic word Iqra means to read, to recite, to rehearse, to repeat. It has all those shades of meaning. So now he grasped that what he was required to do was to repeat. So he repeats the words that were given to him.